workshop, to the non-traditional art workshop, and thank you very much for coming out this morning. We are a very mixed class. We are 6 students. Most of you, of course, know me. I'm Sabine Stromeyer. I will hand out later the usual package I always have prepared for everybody about the workshop and what we're gonna do and what the goal is, and a little bit about my background. Maybe really short only, I'm an artist and I work in the contemporary, very modern field. I work for a gallery in Houston. I also have a jewelry collection, very big jumpy stuff I sell over there too. And I got so many people interested in my work, especially in my very three-dimensional work, so that we decided it might be a good idea to give a workshop or some classes just to hand those techniques out, to give it everybody and to everybody. And I was asked a lot, why are you telling your secrets about the texture and everything? And we made a very interesting, we discovered something very interesting. Even you know the techniques, even everybody has the same material, the same colors, the same paint, the same idea or theme. Every piece turned out differently, and I have still a picture from that very first workshop we did. So everybody got just bark, some acrylic, and turquoise paint color. So everything was the same, but everybody created a different piece. Remember that, Nick, right? It was, you know, everybody came up with a different way of putting the cork down. So I don't worry about giving my secrets away. You will have to find out over years how to, handle that and to come up with your own creativity and all that. So I don't worry about that at all. It's a piece. And everybody got the same bark, the same materials. And then we put it together as a group piece. So it was a huge, long, like a relief, you say the same relief? So that looked really cool, and some you cannot see that even on a photo. They came out that big out of the wall. I mean, the bar came out really three-dimensional, really nice. So, and we don't do a group piece today. Everybody does something individual and with all kinds of materials. I brought everything from home I have, so we can really, have fun here. And let me check. Oh, she's helping all getting the work. Okay. Yeah, Sheila was here at the last workshop, and she is a student sending me every week emails about links to stores where we can get materials, or, I mean, she is a very active student even besides the course. And I saw her house, she saw my house, we exchange ideas about, projects, and she stops by with projects she does in between. And so here she is. Oh, this is one of the, two pieces from the work we did last time, which was actually a seascape theme. This is what we did, and it was also a group project. We put it then all together like a seascape thing for everybody. And even if the piece is maybe not, how shall I say, perfect, maybe not everybody liked even how it came out in the end, but what I can do here is telling you about the techniques, what to use, how to maybe, arrange it, or I think the techniques, this is the main thing I like to show you. And then you have just to experiment and to try it like I did for years. I mean, it takes years to find out how you arrange the things and how you would like to put it and do it. And so you will have to do that at home. But I can give you, some ideas. Let me real quick tell you what I thought for today. I will, of course, explain the basics. You see unusual tools here on your on your plate. I mean, we work a lot with acrylic cork. This is our main glue and our main the molding paste. And I will explain that later to you. What I want to bring in as a new technique is to create stones like that. I always wanted to create a piece with just a riverbed or just the stones I see on the oceans, on the beach, and so. And actually, the idea came up when I was in Greece. There was an island, Kos. I always went in the summer, and in the morning I walked the beach, what everybody does, I guess, on the island. So, and there were white stones, brown stones, and I loved it. And I always was thinking, how can I create an art piece like that without the weight, because I mean I brought the real stones here. You cannot have, even if you take a wood panel, you cannot have, you know, a piece like this with heavy stones. It's not possible. So I was thinking, how can I create that? So I found it out. I made molds, and I will show you today how to make the molds, how to do that, and then we will do some. I brought some hair dryers to, you know, speed up the drying process a little bit. We will see how far we can come with that. But I still think if you don't want to just work with the stones, we can, and this is why we do individual pieces, we can use everything else in it. You can create layers, like one layer with stones and one with sponges or whatever you think. And I brought a lot of boxes for my storage, what I collected over the years, and there are even sponges from Greece, from Kos, I found there. And you know, and we have a little bit of things over here too. And Tiffany brought real interesting bark and even little pine cones or something from, I mean, little fruits or something, you know. So we can, you know, scroll through that and use whatever you think. And for everybody new here, that might be interesting. I have on that side little samples from all textures I created so far. You can look over here. It's the, or to, you know, for everybody to remember maybe, you know, I have pieces like, they look like grass, and you can come over here, then you see that better. And then I have pieces, you know, with the shells. Or this here, this is cutted blinds. It's all blinds, I cut them, and then I create textures or shapes like that. Or this is a sponge actually. Yeah, so you can create that. And this is just the acrylic paste, so this is a different, you know, without any three-dimensional object. This is just the acrylic. Or this is what I want to point out. This looks like grass too, and this is twisted metal wire. And I use the, what do you call this, the sponges. Yeah, the sponges they use for cleaning at home. You can take them apart and then they look like that and you glue them down.
It's steel wool.
Steel wool, yeah, but steel wool it's a little finer, right? It's not really curly like that, those sponges you use for, but it's the same, I'm sure. And then here I have one piece with the real stones. It's just a little piece, but this is already very heavy. So can you imagine having a big piece like that with real stones? It wouldn't work, but on a little scale, I think it's pretty nice. And here's another styrofoam piece. This is very light. You can create textures like that by changing the surface of the styrofoam by spraying it. This is so aggressive that it's deforming the surface of the styrofoam, and this creates very interesting textures and surfaces. And see, all the black ones are done the same way. This is styrofoam too. So I think this is a nice sample of what's possible. And if you see something here you would like to particular work on with bark, here's something with bark which is nice. And you can, you know, and you can always change the you can work out more contrasts by coloring it differently, whatever you have in mind. You know, I'm very on the minimalistic side. I just like to have a block like that in brown. I like that. And what I always point out, everybody knows that, is light. I think light is the most important piece. See, here it is somewhat interesting. Now I hold it in the light and I will show you. Look how the contrasts are coming out. Even the orange from the bark comes out. Real potential of it. So
I noticed that these are on like 2x4 blocks.
yes.
And is that on a wood?
Yes, it's
wood
a
plane?
wood structure. It's a, I can take it off. This is something what you can buy now. It's cradle board, they call it. This is something since 2 years on the market. Let me take it down to show it to you from the back.
Because I noticed when you start trying to do this kind of stuff on canvas,
Yeah,
it's
you
so hard because the canvas
Yeah.
will stretch and deform.
Yeah, but if you at home want to work on a more bigger scale, you should go with that cradle board. See? The solution which makes it rust easier, faster, and this is when it creates those rusty parts. But like you can guess, it's nothing what you can control. It's a process, and this is what I like about it. Even when you spray the styrofoam to get an interesting texture, you have to see what comes out there. You have maybe a rough idea, a rough concept, but in the end, you will be surprised what it's going to be, because it's a chemical process you cannot really control. I just find this. There are only two kinds of stones around, which are not really stones. This is I found in Kos in Greece. Those are really light. Those sometimes I smuggle in there and have I have a white piece hanging at the library right now over there. The same thing in white. And there I have 2 or 3 of those very light stones. And those are actually corals. They are dead corals, and they come to the beach in that shape after I don't know how many years in the water tumbled. So they are very light, and this is the pumice. I think, do I say it right? Pumice, yeah. Pumice, yeah. So they are very light too. So they are not only good for the feet, they are also good for art. But you can look at those. I just thought it's interesting. And out of that pumice, they make a modeling paste, and this is what I promised to show you too. Called extra coarse pumice gel. This is how I repair the corner here, because this is a really rough stuff, really rough, and gets very, very hard. I mean, it gets so hard that you cannot break it. And I did really interesting textures with those too. Like this is what you can arrange, and you can, create shapes, or you can just do blocks. What I did once was blocks like one in one direction and then the other. And this was really nice. And then like this, and then you can turn it like this. Pattern, yeah. Okay. And then in the end, you can just go over it with paint and so, and we do everything with that. So, yeah. And
I want to learn how to do the rocks, but I don't know.
Create an idea. What you also can do. This is why I said look around what you think, which materials appeal to you, and then if you make a decision like I use those two or just this, then you go ahead and make a little slip on your, little sketch on your,
lay it out.
and then can I explain you this to how to use that?
Okay.
And I think that might be the easiest way to start. So, yeah, that's in the stones. Yeah, I will.
Just the whole modeling process.
Yes. Yes.
It's a lot harder.
Just a little.
It is a little, it's a little tricky. You need some tricks, especially when you cover the stones. You have to first with a Vaseline or the words. What do you call it? Gel. You have to cover the stones with that. This is how they look in between when they are drying, and then you sand
So
it.
you're putting this on the rocks,
Yeah.
and then you're.
Then you put this in the floor, and then you have 12 layers. You wait until they are dry, and then you try to cut it like it's really laying flat. It's a little tricky, Yeah, and then you see it's still. This, well, you can apply this on that if you want to have it rough looking.
Oh, but you gotta have this first.
This is
The
first,
structural
this is
strength.
first. This is really the structure you need first. It's the basic shape.
Oh, so what's the shape from?
From the stones. I mean, if you want, we can start right away. I can,
I'd
just
love
show
to try
some.
that.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and I will just pick some. And then I show you the stones, then you can start working, and then I will go around and see what I can help everybody individually. I mean, if you want to, like, I do one piece just of stones, or maybe if you have like this, you could think first, what is your idea? You want to go maybe like this? Or do you want to create a piece like this? You want to start stones and something layering, or you want to go something like that? Or, those are the basic ideas. You have to get a rough idea. I don't.
I think at this point I'm just more
Laying.
concerned about learning the technique than I
Okay,
am
good.
trying
Okay.
to. That may be too much to try and do.
Okay, so much
every day.
information. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me. Then I will just get some random stones. I just get some two, and then a smaller one, and I will show on the smaller ones. So, and what you need to keep in mind, if you really want to go with a big stone, you should buy yourself the big roll that you have just a bigger form. Want to use later, because we cut it out, and if you wrap it around, it's even harder to remove. If you really wrap the whole stone, how can you get it out then? Because you need to get the stone out. So it's even better to have it a little loose on the side, right? so far so good. You brought your hair dryer? Good.
Never can tell.
Yep. Don't leave home without it.
You know, especially in a workshop, you know there's an endpoint.
And then we can, with the air dryer, try to, dry them down. I mean, dry them. They really have to be, really dry.
One of the stoves is pretty big like that.
So we could have taken a small. This is really for the very big stones, for the large ones I saw here somewhere. So you have to bend it off and then it's breaking. It's breaking the surface.
No wonder.
Just physics, because, what you should do is really keep it like that you can open it, take it out easier. And what is to get it if you want to get a smooth surface, it's very important. Try not to have that net visible anymore. Just go with your fingers over it and really, really smooth it out and, try to make that plaster perfect, and it doesn't have to. I still have sandpaper with me that you later could smoothen it with the sandpaper if you really look for that very soft surface. But and then I have, if they are done, you know what? I give you a little form here that you can put them in there. Yeah.
Learning it.
Well, and this is something you have to do 10, 20. And then you figure it out. And it's kind of hard to cut it when it's wet, but
learning a technique like this is worth the cost of the workshop.
but see, let's try not that in the end you don't see the net, or you want to see the net in the end. If you want to have that next net texture visible. Okay, but it's easier if you really,
Crazy.
The other ones, okay, well, it's making it more stable too, right? And it's making it more, it's connecting good to the second or to the next layer, and because it will show through it, I guess. Piece, and but it's another idea, just to work with more levels. So like this. And this is kind of hard too. It has too many sides. It's nicer to have it. See, this really work very, very well. Okay. And I just grabbed what I had, So, but if you pick them, you should really pick straight, nice surfaces. Okay.
And then I need that one, right?
Yeah,
So
this
that
is good.
could
So you
go.
have one there, But you want to add some bamboo there, maybe. Whatever. But now you have a basic idea.
Right.
This is good.
I wanted to ask you something. How do I stretch these things?
Okay, first of all, you need gloves. I have gloves because you cut it. This is for everybody really important to know. If you work with those things, you think, it's not really. It gives you very tiny cuts. They are so painful.
This is mine.
Use it? Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like paper cuts. Yeah, tiny fine cuts which are really painful.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, and then what you do, you just rip them apart. This is what we like to do, and put it together in a new way. So let's see.
What if you took my idea about the styrofoam 2 layers here?
Yes. Oh yeah, you create a nice three-dimensional. Good. Yeah. You just take it apart, and then if you have this, then you add the acrylic, and then start with the sides, like with the corners. Yeah, here. The whole piece is very strong, but if you start from the corner, then you get it. See? Then it's easier. Then it's weak. And let's get gloves. Tell to everybody who is doing the stones, if they're not trying today, then and you do something different with your piece, then just start to attach the other pieces. By next week those are dry, we can attach those, or by the end of the course we can, because it might be that they are not just getting dry. Like I said, I put them in the oven for 10 minutes first, before I get you on the...
What temperature?
At home 350, and there's 10 minutes, and I keep the
door a little open to control it.
For 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes. But you will
Oh, no,
you
go
see that, you know, and
Here,
then you can
there's a piece of slate in the playroom. I'll go get the slate rather than
you
the
think
metal.
that's too, yeah.
Because that's
Oh,
really
yeah.
flimsy.
Oh, yeah, okay. Works maybe.
It's gonna texture, she said it's gonna texture like
Like
this.
Doesn't crack real easily, so if I dry it fast, it's not a big deal. But I also like the cracking, so if it happens, it doesn't bother me.
So we can add if we can work on the other conceptual things, you know.